I was really tired after setup. You can imagine, just constantly on my feet, and I started to have to take longer and longer breaks, and I'd be sitting down just being like, I can't really move. So I found, or my friend arranged a place at another mutual friend's place, and so I spent the night on their couch, and it turns out I could go full length on this couch and I'd be okay. So that was really nice, and I woke up and I was like, oh, this is nice. This is going to be an easy drive. And I discovered 2 cats. There are 2 cats in that picture. In fact, here, have a close-up. And it was pretty nice. And people were set up. Patty is dressed that way because she promotes a thing called Beads for Life or something. And it's for kids who are going through major surgeries and, all those really messed up stuff like kids with cancer. One of the people who volunteers lost her daughter to cancer. And she was 7 when she died. Yeah, really. Ugh. So, they decided to support this thing, and they put on the costumes and stuff to help out kids who have beads. Each bead represents a major milestone thing that they did, like go through chemo, have a heart transplant, have major cranial surgery. And, some of these kids have very long necklaces that wrap around their bodies because of all the things they have to do. So Patty and another woman dressed up to kind of let these kids have an early sight. And I took my 360 camera around right before the show started, and I crashed into like 2 things. One of them was Byron's wife, and I'm so sorry about that. But, this car was good and stable, but it kind of had to do this tilting thing because it would never actually go straight. And I couldn't get it to go straight, which sort of drove me nuts. But I'm going to post that video as soon as I can. The entire tour of the floor by way of 360 camera. And soon we had people just lined up or playing games at the Kids Zone, ready to play. And here is the Steampunk Royale, or the piece of art pinball table. Watch. And look, stained glass, neon lit body. I mean, as soon as I saw that, I was like, holy crap, that's artistic. I look forward to seeing the board floor. And we had machines that I didn't even know about set up.
This is a special area because they don't have a boneyard anymore, so we have to put all our stuff here. Don't know what happened, but it's just gone.
Turns out there was a place, and that's actually where I'm recording right now, but watch this. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, listen to the sound. Notice how, as it goes down, the sound kind of goes down a little, and lower, and lower, and lower. And suddenly you can hear yourself think. The security guard who was setting it up that's why he did it. He was like, I want to think. Like, it's so loud in there, I can't think, I can't stand here. And this is the arcade all set up, ready to go. Everything was set up, everything was ready, and we were setting up these flags, or flies, to get shots over the heads of the machines. It didn't quite work on Friday, but we plan on fixing it today, so you're probably going to see shots of that. And this is in digital type record. Oh, you get it. It's actually a screen. It's not an actual pinball game, but it's of Doom. And I was like, ooh, that looks like fun. And this is a really cool game. This is a touchscreen game of pinball. So this guy is literally changing things around, and it's watching where the ball is, and different targets show up based on what's needed. So he is playing a really cool setup, and I think that's a real future right there. And we couldn't get the fly system to work, and I'll talk about it later, I guess. But we went to lunch, and we had conversation that was getting kind of deep, and I was like, whoa, we gotta stop. Otherwise, first off, I'm just getting convoluted with my explanation. and I kind of want to check out this place. And it's just found in Tacoma, and it's just this nice little. It's a former bus station or something, and they just put a bunch of eateries in there, and really, really good food. I enjoyed it. It was good and cheap, and there was a blade shop. Blade shop. You don't say knife shop. You say blade shop, because they are bladesmiths. Because if you say knife smith, they correct you. And they were beautiful, beautiful things. I wish you could see, just the luster they had in person. Like, see this knife? It's actually shinier in person. I know that sounds insane, but it is. And while we were walking around, we saw some flowers, so of course I took pictures. And my buddy I was with was like, "Oh, dude, are we gonna actually get back to the thing, or are you just gonna take pictures of everything?" And we hit some gun shops. He's from Alaska. I've lived in Idaho. My dad grew up in Idaho, and I spent a bit of my childhood in Idaho, so, guns. And, I took pictures of the guns and stuff, and I really want that brown Kalashnikov, but, that's just me. But I got to see the insides, and oh my gosh, it's really, really, really simple. In fact, it's so simple it was difficult to believe. And this is a bullet press shop. Like, they let you build your own bullets in the shop, and I thought that was so cool, because they sell you the shells, they sell you the ammo, they sell you everything you need to make your own bullets. And this is a Japanese guide to the Kalashnikov, which is weird, but hey, there you go. And I say Japanese, but the Chinese use it a lot as well. And then we went around and we found other places. We actually went to another gun shop, but I didn't take any pictures of it for obvious, just because I didn't ask permission. There were a couple of guns that I was like, oh my gosh, I've never seen that in real life. Ah, I love guns. I can't mention that in Seattle though, because they'll immediately call the cops. And when I got back, the new pinball table had been set up. This was seen at other conventions, and so we invited the lady to place it here. And it is, well, here, watch the video. Yep. By that time, my voice was going, but I was trying to do my best. And this is just a shot of the crowd. They're just really, really happy to be there and ready to go do stuff. And I wanted to show you kind of the line and the people who were ready to go, and they were really looking forward to rampaging through the city. I mean, play some video games. And this is the video. I don't know how to say this, but I was working right next to this guy, and I actually had to be in charge of making sure his machine didn't get broken. But it was a Star Wars themed, the pinball machine made out of Legos, and it was Star Wars themed. Check out that AT-AT. That is so cool. And he added a lot to the theme and to the idea, and they asked me not to take pictures that showed off how things worked, so I didn't. But I gotta tell you, it is a really cool and fun thing to play with. And they were it's basically in beta where they're trying to get things to work. Oh, hey.
Hey.
Sorry. Recording.
Sorry.
It's cool.
Being
Yeah. Enjoy the water.
Thank you.
And it was raining that day, so I took some schmancy pictures, of stuff. And Tacoma in gray is actually really nice. And of course I got to know the vendors, and I got to play Marvel vs. Capcom, which put a smile on my face because it really is one of my favorite games. I actually think I prefer Marvel vs. Capcom 1 over 2, and that's weird, but it's true. And I gotta tell you, SNK vs. Capcom is hard. I could not beat it. And that's Area 52. We had it in a different area from Area 51. And I sucked at Star Wars. But it was a fun game. It's got nice bright lights and stuff. And these are those games that you saw in the video that were set down. Now look carefully. Some of them don't have flippers. It's because flippers hadn't been invented yet. In fact, the one in the center shot, you have to kind of tilt to get the ball to where you want it to go. And you have to be very subtle about it because, you know, it actually has an anti-tilt feature. So it is very different from the way you imagine pinball. But that was pinball before it became, you know, the flipper game that you understand. Before it became a game of skill, really. And this is a shot of the actual arcade when people are there. And yes, it is that loud. I had to get earplugs for people because they were just actually having difficulties talking to me. And if I ever got a phone call, I'd have to find a quiet spot because there was no way I could hear anything. Orion Mission it started to become one of my favorites. I keep going back to it, and I'm just enjoying playing it. And, you know, it's a Neo Geo with 3 awesome games. So I played all 3 of them. And I actually lost at the last play to a lady, but she decided to show off all these cool moves and stuff, so I was totally cool with it. I watched her play and just beat the crap out of characters. It was a lot of fun. And I also played the Street Fighter game. There is a problem with some of the setup. The ball kind of moves around weird, and there's some clunkiness to it, but it is a fun theme. And look at the faces on this picture, you know. Chun-Li looks like Janet Jackson. And Space Encounters, I figured out how to play it better, and I just enjoy the crap out of playing it. It was just, it's a lot more fun once you know what you're doing, and you can maneuver a lot better. And I played, what is it, Garo, Mark of the Wolves? I don't know why the lady was calling it Garu. I was like, no, it's Garo. Garo. It means wolf fang. But anyway, the character I played is called Butt, and that guy's name is Rock, so Butt Rock. No, Papa Roach did not play any music. But Butt is a joke or a play on of Street Fighter. He plays sort of like a combination between Ryu and Guile. And here I am trying to record that lady kicking it up. Or play anyway. But I kept on unfocusing, and I was just like, forget it. Oh, check out this game. It's completely different from any pinball table I've ever played because it's actually orbiting those balls. Yeah, see? Those spinners have little hills in them. So the ball is kind of revolving around and stuff. And it's a really fun game, and it's for sale, but when I played it, the right flipper wasn't working. But it is a very original and very fun game. And then I got to play Thunderbirds, and if you grew up watching... You know, I don't know how I watched Thunderbirds. It was just a show on TV. There's a lot of shows I'm like, how did I watch this show? You know, like I'm seriously wondering about it. But I got to play Thunderbirds, and it was a lot of fun. That was my score. And they updated the raffle thing. So, you know, it's still a work in progress. It was actually assembled that day. So it wasn't perfect, but I was told about, you know, all the cool parts about it and all the things they were working on it. And they were thinking about varnishing it and putting the insides with different colored paint, so then it looked really cool when it was being spun. But it looks really, really cool. And here we go with Iron Maiden, which is the game that Rudy was telling me to play. And I gotta tell you, I didn't enjoy it because I'm not an Iron Maiden fan, and also because I kind of suck at this game. So, you know. I also played the Sega GT game, and what I found was that I really need to figure out how the manual system works on a racer, because I wasn't quite doing well on it. And Ultimate Arctic is just like Rush the Rock and stuff like that, where it's just this insane game, and you happen to be controlling a snowmobile. Like you're jumping into buildings and shooting people with rockets and all that stuff. And Sega GT was a lot of fun, but I think I need to learn how to play it a little bit better. So the next day, I came in and I started doing stuff, and that's where we are now. I will tell you more about that later on in tonight's video. So catch you all later. Bye now.